Yeah, so hey everyone, I'm Mackayla, and today we're welcoming Amy Jaime to the Soundtrack of Our Lives podcast. So we're really glad to have you here, Amy. Do you want to start off by introducing yourselves to our listeners so that everyone can know who you are?
Yes, of course. My name is Amy Jaime. I'm all the way out in Vegas. I'm a singer, obviously. I've been doing music for the past 3, 4 years now. Do both Spanish and English.
No, that's really cool. So you said you've been doing it for the past, you said 3 years now. So what kind of made you decide to go all in for it?
I would say probably the pandemic. Yeah, I started like the pandemic around this time, I think. Yeah. So I think just like everybody else, everybody was tired of doing the same thing, I guess, and they wanted to follow whatever passions they had or whatever. So that's kind of where it came to play as well. So
Yeah, I bet that kind of, impacted everything in your life, kind of making that decision.
yeah, for sure, it really did.
What would you say is the biggest thing that it's kind of influenced or changed in your life?
I would say I've been able to do a lot of things that I wasn't able to back then. Like I traveled to other places. I mean, I haven't been like anywhere out of the country other than like Mexico, but like every time I would go to, like I would say like LA, it was usually just for family, but now it's like for performances and all that other kind of cool stuff. So it's pretty cool that I'm able to experience, I guess, that artist life in a way.
Do you have a favorite place you've been able to travel to?
Atlanta was really cool. I liked Atlanta a lot.
Any particular reason?
I would say probably, I don't know why, but the food. The food is amazing. Food in the South is amazing. But just like, cause I'm also from a small town that's like 45 minutes away from Vegas, so it has like that. I guess small towns are kind of similar to the South in a way, so it has like that similar feel. So I think that's why I really liked it. And then just like the culture, because it's all different, even though it's the same, but it's different in a way, if that
Hmm.
makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I feel like going somewhere that's like similar to home, but not really is kind of fun.
Yes, yes, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, so you do songs in both Spanish and English. What would you
Mm-hmm.
say is kind of the difference between, like, I don't know how to ask this the right way. I'm trying to think of that.
Yeah.
I had it in my head, and then as I started
Oh,
asking,
no, you're fine.
what would you say is like kind of the main difference between each, like the different songs that you make, aside from the language?
Okay, aside from the language, I've noticed I think I have more fun doing Spanish music. I'm not saying that I don't have fun like doing English music, but I definitely do have more fun. I think it gets to showcase, I guess, my culture a little bit more, and I get
Hmm.
to be in more in touch with that. So that's super cool. Because there was a point where I would just drop mainly just like pop, mainly pop R&B, because I grew up listening to a lot of R&B, a lot of hip hop. Well, I listened to almost every genre growing up, but that was like the main thing, R&B and hip hop. So
Hmm.
that's what I kind of wanted to do at first when I first started making music. So I wanted to do strictly just pop R&B, stuff that would, I guess sell on the radios or
Yeah.
whatever. So that's what I wanted to do originally, but it wasn't really my forte. I think like maybe like sometime last year is when I wanted to switch over and do more Spanish and really get in touch with that more. So everything's a little bit different, especially with the music scene too. I've noticed too, like with the Latin music scene and the English music scene is a little different. It's the same in a way, 'cause music
Hmm.
is universal, but
Yeah.
it's a little different. I don't know how to really explain it. I guess if you get to like ever experience it, I don't know if you have or if you haven't, but it's a little different in a way and it's super hard to explain. But all in all, like I don't know. It's just everything doing Spanish music is very, very different. You have to be very especially when you're bilingual, like sometimes like there's some words that I'll mess up compared to like an English song.
Hmm.
An English song could probably knock it out faster than a Spanish song, I would say.
Yeah, I was just about to ask what the main difference is between the songwriting for the two languages.
Oh yeah, so I actually have a girl that writes for me. Her name is Valentina, and she's incredible. She writes all my Spanish music just because I have more trouble in writing with Spanish music than English music.
Hmm.
So I'm definitely pretty grateful over that. So that's like one of my main processes. Sometimes like I can't get it down. I would have to like practice it maybe like a couple times before I go and record it. And then sometimes I usually have to like punch in here and there because sometimes I won't get the word right or whatever. But like I know Spanish, know how to speak it, but like when it comes to singing, it's a little different in a
Hmm.
way. It's
That makes
kind of,
sense.
I don't know. Yeah.
That does make sense, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you struggle sometimes when you're, I mean, we kind of already talked about some of the struggles you've already faced, but like in making like a English song versus making a Spanish song, like how it kind of comes to you, or like creativity wise, do you struggle on that end at all?
Creativity wise, sometimes. I feel like mainly 90% of the time I usually do. So that's why I like to like write with other people because everybody's brain thinks differently.
Hmm.
So yeah, so usually when it comes to writing, I usually like to go to other people and see what they think, or because
Yeah.
like I said, everybody's brain works differently.
Yeah, for sure. What does the process look like when you're writing with somebody else?
When I'm writing with somebody else, I would say usually we run the beat like a couple times over and see what she thinks of. And then usually I do like the mumble method. That's like my favorite thing to do ever. The mumble method is my favorite because it usually gets out the melody. And
Hmm.
then I think I usually come up with the melody. And then my friend Valentina, who writes for me, she usually comes up with all the lyrics after I do the melody. Or sometimes she won't like one melody I do, and then she'll rerun it back and do a melody of her own. And then we'll try to figure out which one works better with the song.
Do you kind of struggle sometimes when you're working with somebody else to make sure that your ideas are heard?
I used to. I think when I first started, I used to because I used to be such a more like a people pleaser.
Hmm.
Usually I didn't know how to say no, but I'm kind of starting to know how to say no now. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, that is good. That's important to be able to
Yeah.
stand your ground.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
What advice would you have to somebody who is struggling to stand their ground in those kind of situations?
I would say just really evaluate who you're around because I think a lot of artists, especially when you're starting, when you're first barely starting and you don't know really anybody, maybe like a select few people when you're starting music, I think you should really evaluate who you're around because sometimes a lot of artists are so desperate to like, say like to perform or to get in a room with somebody and they think that they have to do something that they don't want to. Like just wait it out and be patient
Hmm.
because when I first started, I was just working with anybody because that's what I was told. Like, oh, you need to network this and that, but you do not need to network with people who are bad individuals. You can learn how to say no,
Hmm.
just wait it out, and just really be patient. Honestly, it's a whole waiting game. Honestly, not everything happens overnight.
Yeah, that's very good advice. I feel like a lot of people initially struggle because they just want to make the connections that they then struggle to be like, oh, maybe these aren't the right people I should be working with.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, you don't have to work with everybody. You really don't.
Yeah, that's definitely a learning curve that I think people struggle with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It took me a while. It took me maybe like 2 years, but I mean, you don't have to work with anybody, or not anybody, but not everybody. If you think that they're a bad person, this and that, whatever, you do not have to, because there's a lot of people who are in this music world who don't have the best intentions, especially like if you're like a female artist. Usually, most of the times, they don't have the greatest intentions, which sucks, but it's the reality of it, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah. Or also if you just don't vibe with them too.
Yeah, 100%.
Going off of the advice track, what advice would you go back and give yourself when you kind of started this journey?
To be more patient, I guess. Yeah, just to be more patient, just to have fun with it. I still kind of struggle with that here and there
Hmm.
with being patient or I'm not having fun with this and that, but I think also another advice was the pay to play. Because a lot of promoters will hit you up, especially when you're a brand new artist and you don't know much and you think like, oh, you have to pay to play, you know what I mean? So I think, yeah, if I could go back in time and be like, hey, you don't need to pay these people money. You
Hmm.
do not have to pay because there's a bunch of companies out there in every state or whatever that are willing to book you either for free or they'll pay you. So never pay to play. Do a free show if you have to, because that's how everybody starts free
Hmm.
shows. Or what's another one? Free shows or eventually somebody will want to pay you. So I think that's one of the biggest advice that I would have for just myself in the past or just any up and coming artist really.
Yeah, that's important advice. I feel like people are they just want to make it and they don't realize
Yeah,
that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while to
yeah,
get to that point, which, like,
yeah,
that's unfortunate. Nobody really wants that. Everybody wants to just make it overnight in whatever
yeah,
career you're in. You want to make
yeah,
it overnight,
literally.
but
Hmm.
it's so rare that that happens. So I
Yeah,
think
really.
people
Yeah.
forget that you do have to actually put in the hard work.
Yep, that is very true. You really do.
Yeah, I think it always surprises people how much work artists put in.
It's a lot. it is a lot of work.
Because people only see the finished product.
Yep, they always do. They always do. And sometimes whenever you get something really good, a lot of people are going to be jealous and envy you. And only if you are, I guess, popping or whatever, that's when people start to really have the best interest in you, and like they want to, like, all of a sudden they want to hang around you and they want to work with you. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, but it's just how it is.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's true, not just necessarily in music, but kind of just in life.
In life, it's crazy, but yeah.
Yeah. So you've done, we just kind of talked about paying to play, but you've done several live performances. Do you have like a most memorable performance that you've done?
I think my first out of state show, that was very intimate for me, because there was a time when because this was like, what, I think 2021. This is when everything was starting to come back. Everything was starting to open again. I had my first show ever. So I remember that one. That was pretty special for me. It was like my first performance ever. I was really, really nervous. I didn't know anything. So that was really cool. It was in Vegas. It was like late 2021 too. And then when 2022 rolled around, I wasn't getting booked that much. I was getting booked like every other month. I would say maybe I would have like 1 or 2 shows like every 3 months. So it was kind of like disappointing to me, because I was like, why am I not getting booked, this and that, you know?
Yeah.
And then 2023 rolled around. I remember I got an email from Breaking Sound, and I've been following Breaking Sound since the moment I started making music. And I was like, oh, I want to perform with Breaking Sound so bad. I was like, I know it's not going to change my career, but it's definitely going to get me something, I guess, in a way.
Yeah.
So it's a connection, you know? So I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm going to manifest this one. And that was the first time anybody out of state booked me in LA with Breaking Sound. So that was definitely like an intimate moment for me, because I was manifesting an out of state show for a while.
And I mean, even if it never got you any connections, you're still saying, hey, I did this. This was something I've always wanted to do. And then you're able to prove to yourself that you can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can do anything, really.
So it's one of those things. How do you prepare for live shows?
How do I prepare for live shows? It depends, because every single show is different. Because some days will be good from like the morning, because all my shows are usually at night. So I mean, usually like I'll try to like watch what I eat, or like watch what I drink, this and that.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of like my performance rituals, I guess. That I know some artists won't like talk the entire day or whatever. I don't do that. I've never done that, but I'm definitely willing to try that and see if that will help. I don't know, because I know Mariah Carey does that, and she's like somebody that I look up to as well. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, but I don't know if I could be able to do that. That's usually just try to like watch what I eat, what should I drink, or sometimes like I just usually like to have like relaxed days, and usually like to like not do anything until like the end of the day. And then getting ready is my most favorite one. Putting together like the outfits and putting the makeup on and everything, it's just so much fun to me. Like, it's so fun. And then taking pictures, it's just, I don't know, it's just so fun to me. It's very therapeutic to me.
That's cool. I like that it's therapeutic to you.
Yeah.
Do you have any pre or post show rituals?
Post show rituals, I usually like to celebrate. I don't know. I usually like to celebrate, really. Like go out to eat or something like that.
Something that you weren't eating earlier in the day?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Anything, nothing too crazy, but yeah, that's what I usually do. Like after shows, pre-shows, it's the same. Basically, I like to really like relax, because I don't like to be stressed.
Yeah.
But most of the times, most of my shows, usually, like, not all of them, but like usually I'll be stressed, because like I perform with a live band, so it's a whole different ball game, like making sure everything's perfect. And usually 9 times out of 10, not everything is perfect. So I usually get a little stressed over that, but I try not to, because it's usually like will get to you like too much.
What do you do to de-stress?
What do I do to de-stress? What do I do? Oh, I don't know. I don't like to talk to anybody. I don't know if that's bad. I usually like to like kind of like isolate myself, so I won't take out my anger or like my stress on anybody, because I know a lot of people who will do that. They'll just take it out on anyone, and I don't like that. And I just feel like nobody deserves that. So I usually like just kind of like isolate myself a little bit, so nobody else has to deal with whatever I'm going through.
I like that. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't recommend always isolating yourself, but definitely in the moment. Sure. Sometimes it's good to just remove yourself from whatever that situation is that's stressing you.
For sure.
Yeah. So with kind of having the 2 different languages, and I don't know if you want to call it like, say, almost 2 different genres in a sense as well, how do you kind of put together a show that is cohesive?
How do I put together So, because I always perform both my English and my Spanish songs, so people could see, like, it's versatile
Hmm.
and that I can do both. I don't know, honestly, but yeah, most of my shows, it doesn't matter if it's like more of like an English audience or more of a Spanish audience. Like, I really don't care. Like, I usually do both anyways,
Hmm.
because you never know, because there's a lot of people who don't speak Spanish that listen to Spanish music,
Yeah.
so that's why I like to showcase both.
I think that's important for people to be exposed to different languages and different kinds of music because it just opens
Yeah,
up a
for
whole
sure.
world that people don't really
It
think
really
about.
does. Yeah, it really, really does.
So, with doing the two different genres and languages, are there any other genres that you haven't tried that you want to try?
I'm actually, which is kind of crazy because I actually really like country music a lot.
Hmm.
Especially, I've always loved country music. I always have. And then, being from a small town. So I actually have a country song in the works that's going to be coming out in August. So I'm very, very, very excited about that one. I think the biggest inspiration for that was Beyonce, honestly.
Okay.
I think Beyonce was the biggest inspiration for that one. I was like, you know what? If Beyonce can do it, then I can do it too.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about that new song in August?
So yeah, because I mean it's a country song. I have a lot of ideas with it. I have also another song coming out in July too, but the country song specifically, it's very upbeat. I would say it's something similar to, I don't know if you've ever listened to Tanner Adele.
Hmm.
She was on are you familiar? Are you
Yeah.
familiar with her? Or no?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I would say it's something kind of maybe like her
Okay.
in a way. Yeah, something like that in a way. So I'm really, really excited about that one. I don't know, like I've always say, I'm like, I know every artist always wants to like blow up or whatever, go
Hmm.
viral, this and that, but a lot of the times I'm like, what if it's the country one? And I'm like, and if it is, it's gonna confuse so many people.
Now you're a country artist.
Yeah, because usually when a country artist goes viral, you go to look at their other stuff and it's all country music. And for me, it's like from pop, R&B to Spanish music and then to this. And I just feel like it's going to be confusing, but it's also going to be, because my catalog is getting a little bit bigger now. So I have a little bit more of a taste for
Hmm.
everybody, really, for whatever genre. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that to see what happens.
Yeah, I think it'd be funny if this is the one that blows up and then now you're a country artist.
He said, now you're a country artist. And be like, ah, damn. But yeah,
Oh,
no, I definitely like, yeah, I like to make Spanish music a lot too. So if I could do Spanish and country, I mean, I'd be down for it.
that'd be cool. That'd sound really cool.
Yeah.
So you also mentioned something coming out in July. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, it's a very, very upbeat summer song. I posted a couple snippets about it, like on my Instagram, my Twitter, and my TikTok too. So I would say it's like something similar to, like, I don't know, like Karol G, Bad Bunny, something similar to it has a lot of like, it's also like an Afrobeat kind of song. It's like
Hmm.
Afrobeat and reggaeton, so it's like a little bit of mixture of two. So I could definitely see it like playing at clubs or something like that. So it's gonna be
Cool.
really cool.
That sounds cool. Very excited for
Mhm.
that.
Yes, I am. It comes out 4th of July weekend, so.
Oh, very fun. It's good timing.
Yes, yes, perfect timing.
Yeah, hopefully everyone plays it at their barbecues.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So, do you have any plans for like doing anything fun when those songs come out, like any release parties or anything like that?
I don't do release parties. I never have,
Hmm.
just because I'm an independent artist, so like everything's like on me.
Yeah.
And usually it does get a little bit pricey. I would love to do a release party one day though, so that's definitely like in the works, like hopefully one
Hmm.
day. But like for right now, I don't think so. But usually I like to, like, I don't know, hang out with a couple friends,
Yeah.
celebrate.
I mean, that's a
Yeah,
release
nothing too
party. You're
crazy.
having a party
Yeah, it is.
for the
Yeah,
release.
right. You're right. 100%.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, everybody's release party is different. And yours is
Yes,
just hanging out with your
exactly.
friends.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How do you handle kind of, because you mentioned that you don't perform too often because you've just, that's how it is when you start out. So how do you kind of manage that downtime with making sure that you're staying motivated?
I think back then, when I wasn't performing too much, I was trying to make the most music that I could and
Hmm.
release whatever I could. Because I knew like if whatever I release will give me more momentum.
Yeah.
So I was just making music really. That's all I was really doing, making music, living normal life, whatever. Not really performing that much, but yeah. And then photo shoots. Photo shoots were really big for me too. I always loved doing photo shoots. I really loved like the creativity behind it.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's what I was really doing just to keep myself motivated.
Yeah. So you mentioned like the creativity behind your photo shoots. So do you come up with those ideas or do you just kind of show up and see what happens?
Sometimes it's a 50-50. Sometimes I like to do like really simple shoots. And then I'll see like what the photographer has in mind.
Hmm.
Because sometimes I'll usually run out of ideas, or usually I'll already have an idea set in mind, and then I'll bring it to the photographer, and then we just kind of go from there. So it's usually 50-50. It's usually me or the photographer, whatever they think.
That's really cool. So when you're bringing the ideas to the table, what does that process kind of look like for you and kind of figuring out what you want it to look like?
I usually, because I see a lot of things in my head first visually.
Hmm.
Or like if I see something like, I don't know, like on an ad, or if I see something like on TikTok, like somebody else did, I kind of take inspiration from that, not copy them obviously, but like take inspiration from that and kind of just go from there and see what I can do. Or whenever like I have a song coming out, usually I'll think of ideas, because usually like the beats will like give me ideas of like what I want to do with that photo shoot.
That's cool. I like that. I always find it interesting when artists come to the table with their own idea. I know that a lot of artists do, and then some don't. So I always think it's very interesting to kind of understand what different people's creative processes are for things outside of the
Yeah,
music.
yeah, for sure.
Mm.
That's how it usually goes.
If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
Dead or alive? Dead Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Alive. Oh, I already know, Beyonce.
Make a country album with her.
Oh, I would love to. I don't know. I think she's one of the, like, I usually don't get starstruck, but I think with Beyonce, I think I would definitely get starstruck for sure.
Oh, I think most people would.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I don't think you'd be
100%.
alone in that.
Yeah, yeah.
What advice do you have for people who are kind of deciding that, it's time that they want to pursue this full time, or that, art, that music and art is for them?
I would say, because I think a lot of artists will like quit their, their 9 to 5s or day jobs. And I've noticed that a lot. Like a lot of artists do, and they'll move to LA or any city that has music involved with it or creativity involved with it, like New York, whatever. But typically, usually LA.
Hmm.
A lot of people, I think they'll usually just like quit everything. They'll go full force in it. And sometimes it does work out for some people. I'm not saying to like not do it, like do whatever you want.
Hmm.
But I just noticed a lot of artists will quit everything and then leave wherever they're from. They'll go to LA, and then they're not mentally prepared for it, and they're
Right.
not physically prepared for it. So I just feel that if you want to be a full-time artist, just make sure that you have, I wouldn't say like a backup plan, but like at least something to keep you stable in a way,
Hmm.
and to keep you mentally stable, and make sure that you're mentally prepared. Because I mean, I've never been a full-time artist, but I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Or not necessarily ready, but I mean, like, if I'm not making money from my creativity just yet, I don't think I would quit everything
Hmm.
and just like leave everything behind. So I think that's like one of my advices, because a lot of people will just quit everything, they'll move to LA, and then they'll complain about not making this amount of money, or why didn't I blow up yet? And I don't think it's really the city, it's usually you and how much you're willing to put in the work and the consistency.
Hmm.
Because I think anybody can make it from anywhere. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure. 100%. Yeah. How do you balance, having a job and also being an artist?
It's weird because I feel like Hannah Montana, because I'm also in the medical field. It's not my passion. I think it used to be my passion in a way, because when I first, basically how it all happened with my music and this, basically it was 20, because I graduated in 2017, and then after that I decided to go to school for something in the medical field, because I knew it would give me a job fast.
Hmm.
And I think just like everybody else, trying to figure it out. And I've always wanted to do music, but I just didn't think that I could, because I didn't know anybody, and I was from a small town and this and that. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to school, and then I'm gonna go in the medical field, whatever, and I guess this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. And so that's what happened. I ended up getting a job in the medical field. I ended up living in Vegas, and eventually like I met a lot of people who did music. I don't know why. And I was like, oh, maybe this is a sign. And then I started out managing instead of doing my own music. I was managing an artist for a little bit, for like maybe like 4 or 5 months, like in 2019. So I decided that I wanted to do music business, and that was something that I wanted to do. And the artist wasn't really complying with me, and he wasn't really willing to put in the, or he wasn't just committed like, as much as I was. So I was like, okay, maybe this isn't for me.
Hmm.
And then that's how I all panned out for me, because in 2020 I was like, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Like I need to make music or something. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't know how. I don't know anybody, but I kind of figured it out and it all worked out. So I don't know. So yeah, that's how I'm kind of like handling everything, because this isn't originally what I wanted to do, but now
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the medical field, and I don't know, like I don't think that this is gonna be something forever for me. I
Right.
definitely do think that music is for me. That's how I feel. I just don't know how it's gonna happen or when it's gonna happen, but I just think everything has its, has its timing for
Right,
sure.
right. That makes sense. I bet that's kind of frustrating to have to be working with this artist and you're super committed and they're not as committed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like no hard feelings. I get it. Like it's not for everybody, but
Right.
yeah, it definitely was frustrating at the time, and it just felt like it wasn't for me. And I didn't know everybody at the time, especially because in Vegas the music scene is very small. It's not compared to like LA or bigger cities like that. So you really just had to work with what you had, because there
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a lot of venues back then. There wasn't a lot of venues. There wasn't a lot of, because everything here is more touristy. Everybody cares more about what's going on the strip,
Mm-hmm.
clubs and partying and stuff like that. That's more popular than art, I would say, here in
Mm-hmm.
Vegas specifically.
So before I ask the last question, was there anything else that you wanted to mention or talk about?
Oh yes, this is something I don't know, like this is just something that's, I know I said that I'm also in the medical field as well. One of the things that I want to do in the future, I don't know, because it's a huge plan, but I know a lot of people in the entertainment industry don't have health insurance or they
Mm-hmm.
can't afford it. But I think it's one of my goals to make a health insurance for anybody in the entertainment industry that's affordable. That, I don't know, because the whole medical field is so messed up, especially when it comes to health insurance. And I definitely just want to like change the world a little bit in that sense. I don't know when and I don't know how it's going to happen, but definitely one of my plans to make sure the people in the entertainment field get taken care of.
I love that. That's awesome. If anybody's
Yeah.
listening, they should definitely reach out and give her some ideas.
Yes, yes, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. So the last question is, what is the soundtrack of your life?
Soundtrack of my life. Oh my God. I would say right now, I would say probably Calladita by Bad Bunny. I like Bad Bunny a lot.
So thank you so much for coming and talking to me today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So for any of our listeners who want to stay updated and then catch your songs that come out in July and then August, where can they find you?
You can find me everywhere under Amy Jaime. It's AMYJAIME. And then you can find me on social media, just my first and last name, Amy Jaime. And then on Instagram, it's XLZ. And then on Twitter, it's Amy Jaime XL. And then same thing with TikTok, it's Amy Jaime XLZ.
Awesome. So yeah, have a nice rest of your day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Listeners, go check her out and make sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at STO Lives Podcast. Thanks for joining us.